So we actually got two different answers that both should work. So you don't believe me? Let's check it. Let's see, this problem started out red, didn't it? So we can check. What we recall is we should have 2x plus 1 times 5x plus 3. Is this what I had? Equals 100? Let's go up and check just to be sure. 2x plus 1 times 5x plus 3. Okay, so that does match. Equals 100. This should work out. Let's try it. So let's try answer 1 first. We're checking that this equality is true when we use this x in the formula. So let's try this out. We can do 2, and here comes the green x. Two x plus 1. Alright, see? 2x plus 1. 2x plus 1. And then we need 5x plus 3. So 5x and then plus 3. And we need this to equal 100. So let's see what this actually comes out to be. Let's go ahead and simplify these fractions. Notice there's a 2, and on the bottom of this fraction there's a 20. So we can actually reduce that, cancel out the 2 to get a 10 on the bottom, because 20 divided by 2 is 10. And similarly, we have a 5 and a 20, which would cancel out. 20 divided by 5 is just 4. Okay, so what we have is minus 11 plus square root 4001 over 10, this plus the number 1, and then the other side of parentheses has minus 11 plus square root 4001 over 4 plus 3. This should equal 100. Why not combine these? Let's combine the fractions. So let's get everything over 10. What's another way to write 1? 10 over 10. Alright, that was quick. What am I doing here? So we see there's a 10 down here. We want to combine this number to this fraction over here. Well, we can only do that with common denominators, so we need the 1 over a 10. But 1 isn't equal to 1 over 10. 1 is equal to 10 times 1 over 10. So that's just 10 over 10. Alright, so that's fine. We've primed that to combine. And you know what? Why don't we just combine it now? So we'd have minus 11 plus square root 4001 plus 10 all over 10. Okay, so what is minus 11 plus 10? Well, that's just negative 1. So we have minus 1 plus that over 10. Alright, let's move on to the next set of parentheses. We see there's a 4 down here on the bottom. So we need the 3 over a 4. But 3 isn't equal to 3 over 4. What 3 is equal to is 3 times 4 over 4. See, 3 is equal to 3 times 4 over 4 because they would just cancel out. But what is 3 times 4? It's 12. Alright, well look here. We're going to combine these fractions, and they will then have the common denominator of 4. And what we have left is minus 11 plus 12. That's actually going to be positive 1 this time. And there we go. We've simplified these into just 2 fractions. Alright, well what's left? We can do minus 1. Let's see. We have 2 fractions. They're being multiplied. What happens? We multiply the tops. Alright. And we also multiply the bottoms. 10 times 4 is 40. Alright, cool. Alright, so let's simplify the top now. And all we do is FOIL again. We do the first. So minus 1 times 1 is minus 1. First, and then outer. So we'd have minus the square root 4001. We're doing FOIL, so we did first outer, now we need inner. So we get one of these. And then last, first outer, inner last, we'd get the square root of 4001 squared, because we have 2 of them. So actually we just get 4001 back. We'd have the square root of 4001 squared. Well, the square of that square root, that's just our 4001, my friend. Alright, and remember, all of this is over 40. Alright, let's see what happens. We have minus 1 and 4001, so that's just going to give us the number 4000. And look here, we have minus this beast, and then plus the same beast. So those match up perfectly and cancel out to 0. We basically have plus some number minus that same number. So those cancel out. So we have 4,000 on top divided by 40 on the bottom. Well, these actually cancel out. So we can get rid of a 0, of course. So we could divide by 10, and that would give us 400 over 4. But we can also divide by the 4 and get 100 over 1. Well, that's just another way of writing 100. So actually, wow. That really worked. Alright, so now would be a good time to end the video, but I wonder if we can just go through and see why the second version of our X would work. Alright, so what we've done so far is plugged in the first x, and we found that it does work. The first x has a plus sign here, and the only thing different about the second x is it has a minus sign. So let's make this change in blue. So we'll put a blue minus sign everywhere. And I wonder if this will work out quickly. Alright, so we would have a minus sign here, and a minus sign here. Alright. And it doesn't totally matter, but when I wrote it before, I did plus minus on the bottom, so let's just do the minus on the bottom. Alright, we solved the 2 canceling out the 20 to get 10. We solved the 5 canceling out the 20 to get 4. Alright, and so what we have down here is the minus sign. Okay. And here's where we combine fractions, and that's still good. But the change happens down here. So we would have minus 1 times 1 is minus 1. We would have minus 1 times negative this. So negative 1 times the negative version would actually be positive square root 4001. Alright, what about these, the inner? The negative square root times 1. So this time it's negative. Alright, and finally we would have the negative square root times the negative square root. So negative times negative is positive. And the square root times the square root cancels out the square roots to just give us the 4001. So this time we have minus 1 plus, again, 4001. So we just get rid of that 1 on the end, we have 4000. And this time, instead of minus square root plus square root, we just have it backwards. We have positive square root minus square root. And that still cancels out to 0. So all we have is 4000 plus 0 still. And the bottom is unaffected, it's just 40. And that cancels out to 100 yet again. And there we have it. Both of those answers worked out perfectly. Alright, so we started with this problem. We want to make sure it gets to 100. We solved for x by using the quadratic formula, and it told us we had these 2 answers, and we just checked that it actually does work. Pretty cool. Take care.